What's up, brother? My name is Michael Hart, as you know, and I am glad you're here. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the fitness journey that not only saved my life, but it helped me reshape my identity and build a new story, build a new life. So my story didn't start here. I'm living on a beautiful tropical island in the Dominican Republic, and life is good, but it wasn't always like this. I started out on my fitness journey to save my life about 10 years ago, almost to the day, actually. And I was going through a time where I was a burnt out entrepreneur. I thought I was doing everything correctly. I wanted to provide for my family. My son hadn't been born yet, and I wanted to have everything ready for him when he came. So I was working 16, 18 hours a day building a painting business, and it was flourishing. It was doing really well. It was doing so well that, as somebody who never really found an identity in himself, somebody who was never really taught to be a real man in this life, I put my identity in the success of my business. So countless hours of working on site, off site, building the business, I was slowly burning out to a point where I couldn't even get out of bed. Not for 2 to 3 years. I can't even remember if it was 2 or 3. It was so bad. So my fitness journey started actually while lying in bed. I was doom scrolling my phone, and I somehow just started coming across articles about depression and burnout and anxiety and everything mental health, as well as the tools that were in those articles were how to combat it and how to regain strength so that I could get back to life. Now, I read article after article for months, and I got to a point where I would be laying in bed and I still couldn't get out of bed. I had the tools, I knew what I was supposed to do, and I still didn't have the energy or the strength to get up and do it. So I would say it was even a few more months after that before I decided I was so sick and tired of feeling the way that I was feeling, and I decided, this is the day. I'm going to get out of bed and I am going to go to a gym, because that's what was in the articles was fitness, exercise, even if it's light to start, and proper nutrition. These are the things that fuel your body, they fuel your mind, and these are the things that were gonna help me regain control of my life. Now, when you're in a position like this where you're laying in bed, it's too much. The thought of even getting up to make yourself a cup of coffee, all of those things and those tools that I knew I had to use and apply seemed so far away from the mental capacity that I had at the time. But I knew I had to do something, because I realized after a long time that nobody was coming to save me. So finally, one day I decide to get up and I'm gonna go to the gym, even just to ride on the exercise bike for a minute. Like I didn't even have scheduled workouts, or that wasn't even on the agenda at all. So my first day, I packed my gym bag, and the thought of going to the gym was too overwhelming for me. I left my gym bag on the floor and I crawled back into bed. Now, for the sake of repetitiveness, I'm going to be a little repetitive for the next 30 seconds or so, just to kind of get a point across. But each day I tried again. Some days I would even just look at my gym bag and nope, I would get back into bed. And then the next day I would look at my gym bag, I'd pick it up, I'd get across the kitchen with it, put it down, go back to bed. The next day I get the gym bag to the front door, I put it down, I go back to bed. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I'm in my truck, I get out of my truck and back to bed. I got to the end of the driveway a week later in my truck, turned around, went back to bed. This went on for about 3 months until I finally made it to the gym. And even then, I got to the parking lot, turned around, went back to bed. So fast forward beyond that, you get the point at this point. let's just skip right to I make it to the gym and I get on an exercise bike. I have been on this exercise bike for about a minute, maybe 45 seconds. I'm worried about everybody looking at me. I know the state that I'm in, even though I don't know it fully. I've got an idea, and I get overwhelmed by, people are looking at me. What are they thinking? And I get off the exercise bike. I go back home. I go to bed. But the next day I wake up. Now I've got a new bar. I made it to the gym. So over the course of the next few months, even after that, I wouldn't have made it every day. Some days were more overpowering than others, but I had a new bar and I was making it to the gym. Over the course of the next couple of years, I got to points where I was working out. Let's say, I've got a momentum going at this point. I was working out like sometimes 4 to 6 hours a day. I couldn't go to work. I just didn't have the mental capacity to make business decisions. At this point, I've lost most of my business. I've lost most of my team. I have no one around me that I feel like I can call for help. And I'm just fully doing my best to focus on recuperating, regrouping my mental health as well as my physical health. So in that time, I'd quit smoking. I was probably back to drinking too much, drugs and whatnot. And my mandate each and every day was to just get to the gym. Don't feel like I have to be responsible for anything else, because I'll tell you right now, my mental capacity, my physical strength and lack thereof, I couldn't be responsible for anything else. I had put too much of myself into my business and to everybody around me for too long to be able to help anyone anywhere. I'm also separated, divorced at this point, so my wife's not leaning on me anymore. And again, my mandate is just to get to the gym. So I'm at the gym. I'm working out 4 to 6 hours a day. The gym was actually the start of rebuilding my entire life. For me, everything started with the gym. And then very slowly but surely, I